Hey, welcome back to the studio. Steve Basic Architect here. Yeah, so we shot the tour of that Midwest farmhouse walking tour, you know, inside, first floor, second floor, basement, and then quick tour around the outside. But one of the things that I wanted to do was, show the floor plans. Got a lot of comments saying, hey, it'd be really nice to see the floor plans on this. So I figured I'd do a few videos here and we'd walk through the basement, first floor, and second floor plan. So anyways, here is the first floor plan here. One of the things we didn't get to take a walk through when we were out there was we had a little guest house, not overly large, but you could see it here. Basically, what's that? 24 feet by 34 feet-ish. So not a whole lot to it. We have a front door there off the motor court. Motor court's just a fancy way of saying driveway, right? So you come in and there's basically a nice big open room there, which is called the great room. We have some seating there. I always like to put furniture in my plans. We have the stairwell here. That goes down to a tuck-under garage that gets accessed from that side. You'd see that when we follow up with the basement floor plan. We have a nice little dining area here with a nice big window here. So we get a nice view out into the woods in the adjoining fields, etc. out there. We have a nice little kitchenette here, just L-shaped, real simple. Again, it's a guest house that is for people that, they might spend, I don't know, maybe a month, 5 weeks, 6 weeks there. They're not here for 2 or 3 days. They're there for a week or 2 or 4. And then coming in here, we have the bedroom proper. There certainly fits a queen-size bed, nice 5.5 foot closet, and then just a real simple bathroom, vanity, toilet, and tub there. So again, not overly luxurious, but certainly better than, say, a guest suite in the basement or on the second floor of the house. You get a little bit more displacement here in that, you get your own entry door, your own garage. You can park your car out here and go in the front door. So whatever, hits your fancy, you can certainly do that. Moving on to the main body of the house here, we have, let me bring this up. So on this side of the motor court, we have our garage. And you can see that's a little oddly shaped, but, it's kind of the remnants of everything else that kind of pushed into that. But you can see we're at a really good depth there, and then we have an extended depth here. So if we have different size cars, we can certainly do that. We have some additional storage space there. One of the things about garages that I like to think about when I do them is the door that takes you into the house. I like to put that on the head wall, and I like to put it in that middle third, right? Because it's just easier for anybody that gets out of these cars. It's to get up to that middle third on the head wall makes it real easy to get access, as opposed to, say, there was a door here into the mudroom, right? Then the person getting out of here has to walk all the way around through the garage. It becomes a little bit more complicated. And these are side-loaded garages, which is always somewhat favorable, so I'm not looking at the garage doors necessarily from the front of the house here. And then as we move through the building here, we come into the mudroom. The mudroom proper is basically, this space here. We have a bunch of cubbies, a couple for mom, couple for dad, and then 4 for the kids. Here we have a 9-foot closet here, a pair of double doors on each side. So the mudroom is pretty much like, giant hallway. You can see through there, and then our circulation goes up and continues through the house there. But, the mudroom being a place to come in, being able to take off, you know, your shoes, your coat, all of that. We have a bench here that you can utilize. We have stairs that go up to the second floor there, stairs around the corner that go down to the basement. Those go up to the second floor. And in this corner, we have a half wall so that the stairs are pretty much open to it. But we have our laundry room. So we have our washer and dryer there, and we have a sink there, and then we have some associated cabinetry with a little bit of uppers there. But having that laundry room off of the mudroom, you know, fast-paced families of today, you have 3 or 4 kids. Kids play sports. They come in from soccer game. They're all muddy. Clothes are filthy. So having that laundry room right there, you can get a lot of stuff. And, you know, I'll use a word that I don't like to use too often, but it works well here. You know, the mudroom is really a transitional space, right? Because I am out here or I am out here, and I want to be in here. And the minute I go in, I want to take off my shoes, hang up my coat, take off my mittens, gloves if it's winter time. If it's summertime, you know, I'm carrying in stuff, I'm dropping off bags and stuff to get the kids organized. Whatever the case is, that mudroom is really kind of a transitional space where I go from in-house mode to out-house mode. And didn't quite sound as perfect as I wanted to, out-house mode, but you get my idea. So we have that transition space, and then if we slide this over a little, right? The one thing about that transition space, like I said, we have the stairway to the basement. Well, that makes this some existing circulation space. So that is where I place the elevator in the house, and the door goes out to there. Now, that stairway goes from basement to first floor to second floor. So that landing is exists on the upper 2 floors. So by coupling the elevator to that same landing or same circulation space, kind of guarantees that, you know, my vertical circulation through the house is very successful, and they're sharing that same hallway landing space. Coming through the mudroom, one of the things I wanted to point out here, in the mudroom, we also have a door from the front wraparound porch. You can see we have a nice wraparound porch that expands at the front door. So we have access into the mudroom from there. And why is that important? Because just outside of the mudroom, we have a powder room that we can access from the mudroom. We can access it from the front entryway or entry hall, but we can also access it from the kitchen, and guests can access it from the entry there. And the beauty of having the mudroom there is it gets rid of what I call ta-da moments, right? If I had that powder room, say, on this wall and the door opened to a living room or something, people come out of the bathroom and like, ta-da, you have everybody looking at you like, hey, who's that just walked out of the bathroom? So they all get to see you, and you might not be 100% presentable. So by having the powder room kind of off of the beaten path, gets rid of these ta-da moments, and you can walk out and you're not walking out into the face of people. You can kind of do that last minute self-adjustment and then make your way into the public realm of the house. Coming in the front entry, we have a nice entryway here that's serviced by a pair of closets there and one here. Like I said, the mudroom is off of it. Now, we didn't put a wall here, we just put a couple columns because I really wanted to couple that front entry to this living room. And you can see that living room is where the turret is. It also has the fireplace there, right? So that when you walk in, you immediately have a good feeling about this house because you're being exposed to some of its finer elements, right? You have a nice formal living room. We can see the handrail of the stairway in front of us. We have a couple nice trimmed out columns. We're looking over. We have our fireplace there. We have our turret over here in the corner. There's a lot of things that are there to enjoy the minute I stand in this entryway and kind of look in that direction, right? So it makes me feel good, makes me feel like I'm in the right place. And then if we continue down, I'm just going to switch to my circulation pen here, right? This back hallway actually makes it up into the kitchen. From the front entryway, we can also get to the kitchen in that direction. We have that connection. We do have a secondary connection there that can get us from this living room to the back side of the dining room. But in moving back through here, through more of the utility sector of the house, you can see we have a nice big pantry here. I call that the Costco pantry, right? That's basically a walk-in closet for the kitchen. You can buy cases of water, you can put them in there, paper towel bundles, all that stuff. The second or third extra bottle of ketchup or mustard or something, you can store it in there, canned goods, etc. It just has a whole bunch of shelves, and in this case here, we do have a provision for a second refrigerator in there. And the other thing that's important is these are doors that might never close, so making sure that you have the parking space for those doors in the open position. That's why there are two 18-inch doors, not one 36-inch door, because that way there they can swing out open, and they can be open pretty much 90% of the time. On the occasion where the clients have a party or something, they might want to close down that pantry, so then they can close the doors and it has that nice finished formal appearance. Here, little butler pantry where we have some associated cabinetry there, but then that breaches us into the kitchen off of the front entryway. That breaches us into the kitchen, and then of course we have this secondary means of circulation here. This is the dining area, and the dining area is nothing more than, could be the breakfast nook, right? But when I look back here, I want to make sure that we had a real presentable scene to show. So we have some nice big windows centered there. We have some china cabinets there and a nice big window seat to sit in the middle there, so that when I look down from the kitchen, or if I'm walking in here, I just had that great experience here. Well, now when I walk in, if I look to the left here, then I have that same great experience of looking that way, right? And then coming over here, keep that up here for you. Coming up here, we have the kitchen, cabinetry there. We have cabinetry that runs up and all the way down that wall, and then we have a high top bar attached to the island there. Island's about 12 feet. That's an additional 5 feet. So overall, we're a little over 17 feet there. We have our range hood there, our double ovens there, and our kitchen sink, dishwasher. We have our nice big window arrangement, so we get that view out to the woods there. And then we have our nice refrigerator package there. And understand, we didn't have to go too large there because we do have that second one in the pantry there. The high top that I was talking about here, this has a little overhang, so you can get a couple benches there. It also gives you a little 6-inch wall here, so we can put in a couple outlets. And then you're not searching for them on the island. That change in elevation gives us just enough room to put in a couple outlets horizontally there, and get some nice electrical use to the top of that island. Both the breakfast area, you can see there with a lift and slide there, and the kitchen has a big lift and slide there. That is just flooding these rooms with light, but it also gives us access to the outside there and short circuit access there, right? The one thing I like to do is try not to make rooms hallways, right? So meaning that if I was coming into the room on this side, I don't want to really put a door over on this wall or in this corner. I like to make that as short circuit as possible, because then that really preserves the nature of the room as a destination rather than making it a hallway. So, and then lastly, we have these two spaces here. We have the dining room, which is the formal dining room, and that has a nice cased opening here. But notice I brought that countertop as a buffet into the room because we have so much glass, right? And it really makes that room nice that you go sit there and you basically have this view all around you to the outside. But the problem with that is when I substitute wall with glass, then I don't have a wall to, say, put a credenza or some additional countertop space. So by extending this just as a counter, then that gives me a little buffet space that, you know, if I have extra or I'm cleaning off some platters or something, or just need a little extra space to stage something, say for Thanksgiving, we have that counter accessible to that room. And then lastly, we have a line here where we go from the flat ceiling to a volume ceiling here, and you can see we have the ridge there. You saw that in the tour. That takes us to this really nice family room. It's roughly about 22 foot square. It's headed off with a nice fireplace. We have some nice big windows there, and on that side. So we're washing that fireplace and the room in all directions with natural light there, as well as being in the room. You get those views out to the woods through those corners of those large windows there. So that works really well as preserving a nice wall here to put the TV on. And why that's so successful is I can put a couch here and I can put a couch here, and I can visually see the fireplace from both of those locations, and I can still see the TV, and I can still see the view from there. So having that fireplace, one of my pet peeves is putting the fireplace over the top of, or the TV over the top of the fireplace. Just not a favored condition of mine. So I like to find a wall that I can put that on. And so anyways, there you have it. That's the first floor of our Midwest farmhouse. So hopefully that answers some questions after watching the video of the tour. If you haven't watched it, go back, check that out. I do organize all of my film series or video series under certain playlists. So hopefully you're finding it easy to organize, or easy to traverse and get to where you want to be there. So this will be under that playlist. Anyways, hopefully you enjoyed that. In the comments, if you want to see something else, let me know. You know, I'll try and make it happen. Other than that, hit that subscribe button, please, and tell all your friends. We're trying to put up some really good information for you here all the time. And so anyways, there you have it. Our Midwest farmhouse. That's the first floor plan. I'm Steve Basic Architect. And until next time, long live our buildings.